Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Chat, Grapple, and Cheap Pops podcast. I am Chris Dredd here with the main man, JB. What's going on, bro?
We are all good. This is
Sweet.
episode number 16. We happily welcome everyone. This is part one of I would say a slight two-part special because we are going to follow on with what happens next for one person in particular. It's Brian Pillman part one, but this show is based around the moment where he leaves WCW. It's Superbrawl 6. It's February 11th, 1996. But before we get to all of that, before we get to the Brian Pillman chatter and how much we loved him and how great he was, some of us stayed up to watch another show this week, didn't we? Did you regret it?
To be honest, I'm happy I didn't stay up and actually watched it. I watched it the following day. I have a type of job where I can watch things and have things on in the background while I'm working. And I watched AEW All Out.
I'll just add, I fell asleep countless times watching this show on the sofa in the middle of the night. Maybe it's just me, I was too tired, but yeah, a lot of it sort of put me out, you know. But even before we get to All Out, can you remind the world where they can find us?
Yes, we can. You are watching us, hopefully, on YouTube. We would love to get a load more subscribers than we have at the moment. I know Jordan's been pimping us out like fucking Bobby Brown was pimping Whitney. But he's been pimping us out on Twitter today. He's been doing his darndest to try and get us a few more followers and a few more subscribers. He's been doing a cracking job, JB. Big up yourself for that, mate. You're always cracking on trying to hit that Twitter up. But yeah, we're trying to get more subscribers. A statistic: if 82% of the people that watched our last episode didn't subscribe or aren't subscribers, which is crazy because we're hitting a great number of people watching our show every single week. Last week, we even treated you to 2 episodes, and this is how you fucking do us, yeah? This is how you do us. You get 2 episodes in a week, and you don't even subscribe. But yeah, I mean, it'll be great if everybody it's free. Just click a little button. Just click the button. It's free.
The following announcement was the thoughts of Chris Dredd and not the rest of the show.
Yeah, that's right. just click the button, man. You know, at the end of the day, I mean, we're still loving it. We're loving the interaction we're getting on Twitter. There's been a few more comments and that coming through on the videos on YouTube. But yeah, it'd just be great if you watch the video, if you like it, if you've watched 1, 2, 3, 4 of our videos, please just give us a subscribe because we are trying to push things forward in the name of, as they say, as the streets say, let's push things forward. So, if you're watching us here on the video and you can see our lovely mugs, myself and George, you're watching us on YouTube. That is Chat, Grapple and Cheap Pops podcast on YouTube. We're also on the Twitter at Chat, Grapple Pops on Twitter and Instagram. We are on various podcast platforms. Get your fingers ready, George. We are on Podbean, Spotify, Deezer, Castbox, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Listen Notes, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn Radio. It's great. It's great stuff. And we love being on all those platforms. And we love being in your ear holes and in your eyeballs.
We can see how many downloads there are for our shows, and I'm mightily impressed with the amount of people that just listen to us. Granted, sometimes we're not that easy on the eye. I get it.
What are you talking about, man? We're just the sexy boys. Sexy boys. Of course we are. Look at us.
We can't both be Sean.
Well, one of us is going to have to be fucking Marty Jannetty, and that ain't me, bruv.
Oh, no way. Yeah. I stayed up to watch All Out I tried my best. I mean, if anyone hasn't watched it by now, surely that can't be possible. MJF did not win the AEW title from everyone's favorite John Moxley. I mean, he probably should have. You know, there's that whole thing. You know, if they wanted to carry on the feud, which was going swimmingly, going well, MJF probably should have won it. But Mox won it with the banned paradigm shift. MJF's crying foul, saying he was cheating, blah blah blah. It's not a great way to continue a feud.
Well, it's not going to continue, bruv, is it? It's dead. It's dead.
No, they've moved on. They've moved on.
And this was the whole point. Sorry, don't get me started, because as my t-shirt says, I'm going to start layeth the smacketh down on these candy asses.
I mean, we can briefly recap it. You know, Archer did win the Casino Battle Royal, had a little debut from Matt Sydal, or Evan Bourne, as people
Evan Bourne, Matt Sydal, yeah.
He did take a bit of he made a mistake, or he slipped on the ropes when he was about to do his shooting star. And
a move that incidentally he has done a squillion times as well. A squillion times. Like, more than a squillion times. Matt Sydal, Evan Bourne. He's been doing that for, what, 15 years?
Yeah, it's an unfortunate accident. You know, I'm sure the ropes were sweaty and stuff. That looks like iced tea that Chris is drinking there.
It is, yeah.
I'll just point out that I've gone with a classic old Jamaica grape.
Oh, dude. Nice, man. Yeah, man.
I am going back in time, yeah.
Yes, mate.
Britt Baker and Big Swole, and that was that meant to be cinematic? Because it wasn't.
No, bro, that was, for me, right, okay, it's begun. It's like the first match of your pay-per-view, right? Your first match of the pay-per-view, and you've gone for something, a tooth and nail. Like, again, every one of these matches had a fucking gimmick, yeah? So you've got the first match.
Sort of sounds like a company that we're reviewing tonight.
It kind of does,
yes.
Even though they said they're not going to be the new WCW. But anyway, they've actually got a Rhodes as Booker Man. But anyway,
Booker Man.
They are, you know, your first match of the pay-per-view, and let's be fair, All Out was their first pay-per-view, wasn't it? AEW did.
All In was their first one. No, All In wasn't AEW. You're right. Sorry, All In was just All In, wasn't it? It was just Cody's before AEW.
Because I thought their first pay-per-view was All Out about a year ago. They've been in existence roughly about a year.
So would this be their WrestleMania?
This would be kind of their WrestleMania. And the hype around it was fucking immense. And partly the feud between MJF and Moxley. And before we go any further talking about Moxley, which I will talk about, I'm sure we'll talk about in a second, he fucking bores me. He fucking bores me. He really hasn't got any charisma. Not really. I don't think. That's my opinion.
I don't necessarily think that's true. He had a lot of. I thought he showed a ton of charisma as Dean Ambrose. That's a name that's not uttered very loudly these days. But as Dean Ambrose, he was very animated in the Shield. He was, and when he broke away from that and he started feuding with Seth and stuff like that, he was really good. I really enjoyed his stuff, but he did slow down once he won the title. He did sort of step up, take his foot off the pedal, and he got called out for it. And that was pretty much the beginning of the end of him in WWE.
Yeah, in AEW, he bores me. When I watch him in AEW,
carries a big name, and AEW will continue to. Same with Jericho, carries a big name. Jericho pushing, probably slowly stepping towards the end of his career.
I mean,
and orange mimosa matches and stuff.
I'd like to say, we'll start the first match, Big Swole versus Britt Baker. My main issue with this whole pay-per-view was too many faces won, first of all. Too many baby faces won. It was pretty much every single baby face won, and they were not great matches. The first match, Big Swole, I don't like her personally. I think Britt Baker would have been a better one, especially the fact that there was two of them. She's got like her receptionist. They should, you know, there's a lot of build up around these matches. Like Britt Baker had the face thing on because Big Swole smashed her nose up or whatever, and she was like, oh, you know, oh, I've just had my nose fixed and all this. Like, she should have been way more heely. It's like they should have fucking strapped her. You know, dude, we're not the bookers of AEW, obviously. But if that was me, right, and there was two of them, I like, obviously, I would have done how they did it with, you know, her hanging around, and I like they had the chatterbox teeth thing in the cupboard and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the fact that there was two of them, they should have beat the shit out of Swole. They should have strapped her into a fucking chair and just literally just lathered the crap out of her. I like the old injection into the leg doodah. You know,
good.
Quite a good gimmick. But the first hit of the whole match, of your whole pay-per-view, was Big Swole taking like the clipboard and hitting matey girl round the face with it. But dude, it was like she paintbrushed her. It was like that was the first hit of the whole pay-per-view, and
I think there's a lot to sort of chat about when it comes to women's wrestling in AEW. I mean, let's not step around it, and I'm not, you know, I'm not jumping from one side to another or trying to be one team or not. But NXT last night with Ripley and Martinez in a cage absolutely smashed it. So,
dude, like I say, I mean, WWE women's division absolutely kills it, dude.
Stands still over AEW at the minute.
Absolutely pisses all over them at the moment, you know. And even I watched I saw a video on Twitter the other day, like the best of Ilconic.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic, dude. Like, you know, very, very good. Two great, you know, talents. You know, and even Sasha Banks and stuff. You know, she's got moves. You know, Bailey. You know, the whole women's division. You can't really test it at the moment. You can't really compare the two. But I just think that
I would like to get your thoughts on in a horror spot on this show, and I think you know where I'm going. It's Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara. They obviously overshot the table by a country mile, and they let Matt continue.
I mean, that for me was inexperience. Okay, the referee, first of all, well, Sammy, first of all, as soon as something should have been said to somebody, and basically Sammy should have stayed down. He should have just stayed down. They both come off the table. There was no need for him to get up, first of all. He should have just stayed where he was. The referee just didn't play it. I mean, everybody knows the fucking, yeah, he's hurt kind of thing. They could have done a kind of no contest or whatever.
Apparently he passed concussion protocols, but you can't do that in a couple of minutes. It takes way longer in any sport. And, you know, call it a sport. You don't have to call it a sport, blah, blah, blah. But it's still a head injury. There are protocols in any sport that you've got to undertake. And it's not just, you know, it's not a couple of minutes. And whoever's decision it was to let him go back out there was poor. And they could have easily called it a no contest and said, you know what, if Matt Hardy's fit, we can do it again on Wednesday night or whenever on Dynamite.
They could have weaved it into an angle. They could have even heated up the feud by saying, you know, you dragged me off of that thing. I smacked my head on the concrete, blah, blah, blah. Bring it into the story. Why not? I'm all for that. You know what I mean? But it was inexperience with the referee and with Sammy Guevara. I mean, I like Sammy. I'm not too keen on the referee, but that's another story. It was Aubrey, wasn't it?
I can't remember.
I think it was, what's her name, Edwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for me, it should have she should have just said to Sammy, stay down or whatever, and then, you know, brought out the EMTs or whatnot. But it was like Sammy, the way they did it, it looked silly as well. It just looked silly. You had, you know, I mean, he was dead on his feet, weren't he?
Yes, it was. Few people have said he went straight into autopilot, and that's a sort of thing that happens in wrestling. Like they just sort of switch onto their what's been burned into their brain in wrestling, and that's not a good thing.
Think of the matches that Matt Hardy's been in, dude. Some
He doesn't,
fucking
he doesn't
slobber
need
knockers,
many more,
dude.
he doesn't need many more of those.
No, he's been in the old, the classic tables, ladders, and chairs matches with Edge and Christian and the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys. Those matches there, they stand out as some of the tag team matches of all time.
Yeah.
And they were fucking brutal as well. Some of the stuff, but this was 20 years ago, dude. This is coming up 20 years ago, and Matt Hardy, I know he still wants to go out all guns blazing and he still wants to be working. But, isn't Jeff Hardy still in WWE?
Intercontinental Champion, currently.
Currently, really? Fucking hell. Like, I still do think there is a time for wrestlers to retire, man. Like, I just think sometimes, that it's that romanticism that people have with people like Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, the Chris Jerichos. Jericho's doing all right.
If they can still work, and why can't they collect a paycheck just like the rest of us?
But sometimes they can't work. That's the point.
Oh, well, I still think they can work. They can still.
But then you're kind of sullying the reputation of these guys that were doing so much, and then when they're not doing what they were doing, they kind of, Not that I'm saying that these guys shouldn't be earning a paycheck. I'm just saying, if you've built your career on crazy ass fucking tables, ladders, and chairs matches, that's not something you can be doing all the time.
No.
And sometimes you just got to call it a day. It's not like they really need the money. I'm pretty sure. For me, it's even crazy that Jeff Hardy is like.
I don't know how much was TNA paying them.
Probably not a lot, man, but enough for Jeff Hardy to be getting off his nut on pills and alcohol and going out there. Do you remember that match? What was it? Who was it against? Sting?
Yeah.
Where he came out and he was just in that was another lapse of judgment from people in charge, letting him out there to do that. He shouldn't have been let out.
Well, they had a plan and they stuck to it, told Sting to roll him up and get it done.
There's another thing that I want to talk about AEW as well, with all these people getting on JR's back. Have you seen this?
Yes.
About him saying, "Oh, was that a wardrobe malfunction or is that just wishful thinking?" And it's not a great joke, but it's not enough to.
It's not good, but
it's not enough to hang a man by his fucking, Jesus Christ. Some of the stuff he sat next to the King while he was saying, I'm surprised he's not a lot worse than he is.
Cancel culture's not big in our circle. We're not fans of it.
Not really.
JR made a joke. It's nothing to do with whether you love JR, you loved him, loved his work before. He made a joke. He later apologized for it, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then, from what I can tell, he deleted the apology. But we're in a world now where a news story anytime in the next few years will say a snowflake was offended today, and that'll be it. That'll be your headline.
Don't get us twisted. We're not on. We're not into allowing people just to say whatever the fuck they want.
Believe us, we're not watching the G1 this year.
Yeah.
Let's leave that for now, but let's just say that we're not watching it. Yeah. Block 1A or block 1 is it? I think. Yeah, that's where he is. Shall we get to it?
Yeah. Just last thing about AEW before people get pissed off. We're not haters of AEW. Okay, we are not. We don't want to see its downfall. We just want to see it be better. Basically, I think the booking was terrible. It's too. Even the tag team match and everything seems too choreographed, and everyone's too worried about how things are coming off and that. And I just think it looks too contrived. It's not. It doesn't look as organic as it should do. And I think that's just a lot of inexperience. And not enough experience, and it's too spot heavy as well. Everything's too pre-planned. There's not a lot of free-flowing stuff. A lot of the time you can see the people being set up for spots, and it just doesn't look organic enough for me. That's my last word on it. I'll still keep watching it and that, but it just looks too pre-planned, not spontaneous enough. It's just not good enough, really. I think out of 10 it was a 5 if I'm being fucking generous. The whole pay-per-view.
We'll see what they have to offer in the next few weeks and months, and hopefully it'll be something You know, they'll knock something out of the park in an angle or in a match or in a show.
But MJF should be fucking champion. Fuck's sake. I did say we'd riot if he didn't win, but...
Yeah. We are at the Bayfront Arena in St. Pete, Florida.
That's right. Let's get into it.
7,200 fans. Not a massive arena, but this is a stronghold for World Championship Wrestling. I will say, and I always do, I won't dig into it because we don't know the buy rate just yet, but 210,000 buys for Superbrawl 6, which is still double what a company pulls in that talks about how big and great they are with demos and whatnot. Sorry, I can't help it. I have a problem with people that love to brag about things that aren't that big. WCW also taped an episode of Main Event. I'm getting sick and tired of not seeing these shows on the network. I had to go and find it myself on YouTube. It was very quick. It was very pointless, but there was a 2-minute squash where the Road Warriors, who made 3 appearances in this one night, beat Later and Bunkhouse Buck. Hugh Morris beat Canyon. Big Bubba, who wasn't climbing a pole to get a weapon this time, teamed up with VK Wall Street to beat Joey Maggs. Jumping Joey Maggs, what a jobber. And Craig Pittman, Pitbull Pittman, sorry. And Jim Duggan went to a double DQ with possibly the greatest WCW wrestler of all time, in my opinion, Loch Ness. A.k.a. the Giant Haystacks.
Giant Haystacks. Yeah. That guy, do you know what, I've seen Giant Haystacks in person, right? When I was a kid. I mean, anyone who's listening to us in the USA or anywhere else, Giant Haystacks was absolutely huge in the UK.
He was a fucking star.
He was an absolute star. You had Giant Haystacks and you had Big Daddy, Shirley Crabtree, right? So you had those two. They were like your big guys, okay? Your baby face and your heel, or your blue eyes and your red eyes, as we say in the UK. So Loch Ness, aka Giant Haystacks, I've seen him in country shows when I was a kid, like, and holiday camps and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, this guy was a fucking star. It's crazy to see him in 1996 in WCW.
Yeah. And he battles to a double DQ with Jim Duggan, and that ends Main Event.
Jim Duggan.
Yeah. And
whole family's punchy.
as Bobby would say. Speaking of Bobby, he's part of the 3-man commentary booth for this one. It's Tony Schiavone, Bobby Heenan, and the American Dream.
The American Dream. You could smell the danger in the area.
This show is... I mean, you talk about gimmick matches and stuff. There's 2 cage matches on this show. One after...
Sorry, mate. There was one after another, but they're the wrong way round again.
They are.
Hogan effect.
One should have been the main event, and one very clearly should not have been.
Yeah.
Your main event, we're not spoiling it. It is the Giant and Hulk Hogan.
Well, it's on the as you can see in front of you. Yeah.
That would be the main event or the end of the show, and it had no business being the end, because the match beforehand for the world title was a lot better.
It was 10 million times better.
It feels like we've reviewed this first match 1 billion times already.
Fucking A, dude. I've got the same thing written. It's like we've reviewed this. I literally have nothing written down for this either, because it's one of them dog shit matches as well. Like
the street fight. So, gimmick match to start. It's a street fight, and it's the Public Enemy, who, are known for their, trashy sort of gimmicky hardcore matches, and the Nasty Boys again. We've been through this, I'm sure, 3 times.
At least, man. You had it at Beach Blast, Bash at the Beach. Sorry, we had it Clash at the Champions.
Was it World War III? I can't remember.
There was a 3-way dance as well.
If you're going back into our video archive on YouTube, or even to our podcasts on Podbean or anywhere like that, you'll see that we spoke about this match in particular a lot. And it's a street fight. It's straight to the weapons.
Plunder.
Right, yeah, we're getting straight to the Plunder, baby. Brian Knowles puts Rocker Rock to a table. Jerry Sags, goes for the plunder, and I've got this written down because I've just put, oh shit, it's the double screen.
Oh, you love the double screen, didn't you? Yeah,
No,
you love the double
Why
screen.
why do they insist on the double screen? Production is poor in this show in general. Again,
Yeah, it was not
I
the
find it
first or the
hard. I
last
find
time.
it hard to believe that a show of people with that much money and that much, manpower and brains behind it, and that would put on such bad productions.
I mean, it fucking boggles the mind, man. If you're going to have a match where they're going to be all everywhere, and even, as it said in the commentary, the Nasty Boys, they're not even wearing wrestling boots. They're wearing sneakers. They're wearing training shoes. They're getting ready to run around the arena. If you got them running around the arena, fucking at least have the capabilities to catch it all,
This match is unbelievably repetitive now. Rocco Rock goes through 3 tables in this one match before Brian Knobs pins him. This isn't good. It's it is Plunder. It is it's. I think you might hear a smattering of ECW chants at one point, like really small. But
they go through the merch table, don't they?
Yeah, they go through the merch table. It's the Nasty Boys and Harlem Heat put on much better brawls, and this doesn't work for me. I would say it was a poor opener.
It's a very bad opener.
This is before they get cruiserweights, though.
Again, it's for me. I just see the Nasty Boys stiffing the fuck out of Public Enemy.
There's a stiffer shot later on. There's a much stiffer shot later on.
Yeah, there's a few stiff shots later on, but it was. Like you say, we've reviewed a match like this for at least 3 times, the Nasty Boys versus Public Enemy. And excuse me, I'm yawning just talking about it. It's one of them ones where it's literally just a meh.
We need to move on quickly before Chris falls asleep.
Yeah, mate. Honestly, let me have a little bit more. More peach iced tea just to perk myself up. You know what I mean? Get the matchsticks out.
Peach is the best iced tea. Don't come at me for that. Just leave us alone. It is the greatest iced tea going.
Peach iced tea is really good, but there's a really nice Japanese one, which is lemon and honey, and it's absolutely beautiful. Import from Japan. It's beautiful. But yeah, peach.
Where can I get one of these? Import.
I'll get you one. Next time I go to a Japanese shop, I'll get you one. I'm a regular visitor to the old Japanese food emporium, so I'll grab you one, dude. It's lovely.
Very cool. Mean Gene plugs the hotline. He loves that hotline. And there's a rumor that 2 former WWF, and he uses the term champions, not as in heavyweight champions or world champions, just champions, could be on their way to WCW. And we know who they are.
And also, he drops another little hint later on.
He does indeed.
In an interview.
I caught it.
Did you clock it?
Yeah.
We'll get to that. He drops another one, the little crafty little bastard.
He does interview Conan, the US champion and the Mexican heavyweight champion. And what an outfit this is.
Oh, dude, it's Max Moon. I swear he's come as Max Moon.
Wearing a real flashy gold outfit.
Lovely.
And he does a fair bit of the interview in Spanish as well, which...
Yeah.
I don't speak a lot of Spanish, so I didn't have time for it.
No, I mean, I only know rude words and phrases in Spanish because my friend Alvaro, really, that's the only way I could do it. But Gene talks about, have you battled a man of the girth of the one-man gang? And he said, I'm used to that, and blah blah blah. And he reels off here, goes Spanish spiel, which is great. But they say he's the Mexican champion as well.
They said he was the Mexican heavyweight champion. I don't think that really holds a lot of stock.
Was that like AAA? I'm
not even sure if it was AAA or...
Is he like AAA champion or...
CMLL or whatever it is.
Yeah, possibly.
For all we know, it could be, a made-up title that he won in Rio de Janeiro.
It could have been one. It could have been. Maybe he won it off Limo Rickshaw, if I remember. Fought him.
Limo Rickshaw, world's greatest athlete.
World's greatest athlete.
It's a TV title match next. It's Johnny B. Bad. It's another match we've seen before, but it's Johnny B. Bad with the Diamond Doll or Kimberly against DDP again. But this time it is for the $6 million that DDP had stolen off the Diamond Doll. First thing I noticed was there's a lot of tassels.
Dude, the tassel, I've got here, tassel factor is through the roof on this one. But you've got
more tassels on someone else later, but
yes, there definitely is. But I mean, you've got fucking Diamond Doll doing like backflips and flips going into the ring, and then she's like doing this like hype dancing, but it just doesn't. It don't match the music. You've got Johnny B. Bad with like some country and western thing, and she's like running in doing flips like she's off fucking Flashdance. So like, it don't match, love.
Maybe this was her audition for the Nitro Girls.
Wind your neck in. Yeah, I mean, she was one of them, wasn't she?
Yeah, she led the Nitro Girls.
But the thing is, a few people that got famous were in the Nitro Girls. There was a few of them that ended up in WWE.
Yeah, Booker T, Sharmell was in it.
Sharmell.
Shawn Michaels married one.
Shawn Michaels married one, and then there was another one, quite a famous one. She was with she ended up going out with George Clooney.
Oh yeah, that one. The one that danced on the table for Vince on a SmackDown once.
Yeah, dude. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I mean, she's really famous though.
Yes. Nice bit of chain wrestling in this. That's what to start with.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, this is after you've got Johnny B. Bad coming in, the Diamond Doll doing her flips and flips, doing the splits, and then Johnny B. Bad's throwing out frisbees to the crowd. Did you clock that?
It was an odd gimmick. Like, let's be honest, it was
weird. We
talked about the start of his gimmick a couple of weeks ago.
Where he was so pretty, he should have been born a girl.
Yeah, and now he's. I mean, the evolution of the gimmick is it's a lot better than it was, but
yeah,
still him prancing around like he's Little Richard.
I mean, it's in the song, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's in the song. It says it does exactly what it says on the tin. He looks just like Little Richard.
But
it's amazing how a man can go from the heights of Johnny B. Bad to like the shitty boxer gimmick that was fucking powerbombed by Sable. You know, talk about lowest of the low. I hate Sable. She really annoys me, and it's upsetting that when I think of Johnny B. Bad, aka Mark Miro, I always think of Sable, like power bombing his career, basically. Terrible.
His name's Chris. Remember Chris, not Jordan. It's Chris.
Apparently, reportedly, Mark Miro was supposed to do a thing with Stone Cold Steve Austin, but as soon as he got power bombed by Sable, Stone Cold said, "No, I don't want to work with him no more."
Absolutely not.
His credibility's on its arse. Yeah.
DDP is begging Kimberly, Diamond Doll, blah blah blah. You know, it's Kimberly in this for us to join in his antics. Jesus wept, man. He milks a DDT like nobody's business. He almost gets pinned off it, but he's just mucking about. Like, there's a lot of stalling in this. I mean, there's more stalling in one of the cage matches, but he takes like this healing up, like stalling to a next level. He's just, and I'm thinking, stop pissing around, just fucking get on with it.
Because the thing is as well though, I really wanted to see DDP win this, just because, you know, I didn't really like Johnny B. Bad's character, and like the Diamond Doll annoyed me. But it was the $6.6 million check, right? Yes. You've got the Brain saying no, he ain't got any of the money left. He's been giving it to charity and that. Like, he paid for the owl sanctuary, and it's like the Brain just killing it. He's like, yeah,
the Brain is very good.
The red-breasted puffin or something. Like, he talks about like, no, he gave it to an owl sanctuary. Like, it's just. It's brilliant. You know, but there's a thing that happened literally within 5 seconds of this match starting as well. Well, not 5 seconds, about 30 seconds. DDP gets snap-mared out over the top rope by Johnny B. Bad. And in theory, that should have just been a disqualification straight away.
We find this hard every time we review a WCW show, but they if they don't want to keep up with the rules, why should we?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's because Bobby the Brain pointed out. He said, well,
He did, yeah.
he snap-mared him out. That should be a disqualification. It's like, oh, they didn't know he was going to go out of the ring. And even Bobby goes, well, he's on the edge of the ring in front of the ropes and he snap-mares him out. Where's he going to go? Of course he's going to go out. Like, that just annoyed me as well.
The sunset
yeah.
flip from the top rope was excellent.
What's that?
The sunset flip from the top rope.
Yeah, it looked really good. It looked really good. There was a lot of stalling, like you say. Even DDP's like inviting a fan into the ring. He's like sitting on the rope, pulling it up, like going, "Yeah, come in." Like loads of stalling, dude.
And
yeah.
They put about as much like effort as I did into my note taking, because I've got here that Johnny wins it with a tombstone.
Yeah, he did. I've got a load of Bobby the Brain quotes on here where he's like, they're talking about the money, and he's like, he's gonna give the money to her. He's gonna go in there and break his back with a match against DDP. What? And he's gonna give the money to her. It's like she's gonna do a runner, mate. It's like,
that's just it. Because at the end of the match, Bobby is planning to take Kimberly out for dinner. So
it's so funny, and he goes, yeah, if she's gonna leave them both, I'll give her a ride. And then they go, yeah, but you'll need a car, but you need to borrow a car. Bobby goes, mate, 6.6 million, I'll be able to get a car, don't worry.
It's, Bobby was probably the highlight of that one. He's got a few one-liners in this whole show that I've got written down. That some of them just fantastic.
Bobby's the king, mate. Rest in peace, Bobby the Brain Heenan. He's the king.
Yeah, so Kimberly gets a check, a giant check. It's so it reminds me of the joke from Semi-Pro with Will Ferrell, where he says, "Oh, congratulations, you've just won this giant check." Like no mention of money. Like it's just this giant novelty check.
It's like it's like Happy Gilmore as well, where he's like, no, give me the check, the big one. He's just got a car full of big checks, like. There was a great line as well from the Brain in this. He goes, no, when they're talking about who actually bought the bingo ticket, and he's like, no, she ain't got a bingo card to stand on, in court. She ain't got a bingo card to stand on.
Mean Gene's with Harlem Heat, and they're after Lex Luger, and there's again, some of these interviews were bad as well. I don't know what I don't think Mean Gene was off. I just think the people he was interviewing just weren't into it.
I don't know, man. Cocaine's a hell of a drug, but there's a part in this as well where he says, "Oh, apparently some of the plumbing's gone, and when someone opens a door or flushes a chain, we get a whiff of it down here or something." I don't know what he was saying there, if that was actually genuinely a thing that was putting people off when they were doing their interviews, or if he just thought the whole place was stinking up from these terrible interviews and the matches. But they talk about, because in the week was it Clash of Champions or maybe the Nitro before?
Sure, yeah.
Something happened where basically Harlem Heat were the champions.
Luger's playing slight heel, isn't he?
And he's healing it up, and basically they won the title through healing methods. And Harlem Heat says, Luger, you should be done for grand larceny, and calls them sissified suckers.
Yes, there's a couple of suckers in there.
There's a load of suckers in this. It's great. The sissified suckers got me. And then when they're talking about, and the thing is, when they refer to Hawk and Animal, they're not really allowed to call him Legion of Doom. They're not really.
They do get called that by Bobby, I think.
Yeah, Bobby. I think a few people call him Legion of Doom. Even Dusty at one point calls him LOD. But in this, they say, yeah, Legion of Doom, Road Warriors. This ain't 1976.
What do you refer them as? Are they the Road Warriors or are they LOD?
I mean, when I was growing up, they were Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
But they were the Road Warriors, and they always really will be the Road Warriors, because that's how they cut their teeth in the business.
Yeah,
that was the gimmick.
I mean,
and they never really, I think we spoke about it before, they never really were able to duplicate what they did in Memphis and all those other places, really, because it wasn't that era anymore. But I mean, either way, I like Legion of Doom or Road Warriors. I'm not one of these hard-nosed fuckers that say, no, you have to call them Road Warriors. It's like, well, no, like, when I was growing up, they were fucking LOD, man. It doesn't really bother me that much.
And the LOD or Road Warriors are the ones that take on the winners of Harlem Heat and Sting and Lex Luger in our first tag team championship match of the night. I mean, when you really look at this whole thing, like this whole show, it's like people are working twice. You know, there's 2 cage matches, there's gimmick matches all over the place. It's pretty fucking terrible.
It's not a great pay-per-view, mate, to be honest. It's one of these ones that I've watched again recently, before we even did this, because I was working my way through when Nitro started, working my way through all the Nitros, and then playing the pay-per-views and watching the pay-per-views as we go. And I ended up watching this, and even when I watched it at the time, I thought for me, there's literally a couple of good matches on here, and that's it, really. Like you say, the whole thread of the pay-per-view really was a bit shit. But there was some important things that happened in this pay-per-view. And like we said previously, the one of the dual main events, which should have been the main event, was the title match, was probably, it had to be the best match on the card.
Yeah. And
it was a shame it wasn't the last match.
This isn't something that, I've brought up really, but Dusty's analysis, when he starts talking, you just can't help but, you really take it in, you really listen to it. And he's spot on, as this match is getting started, this tag team title match, he is absolutely excellent. The way he's breaking it down. And I was just sort of completely locked into what he was saying. And I don't think he gets enough or any credit for being a decent commentator.
Yeah, I mean, and he doesn't get enough credit for being funny either.
Yeah.
Because he was very funny. He's got a line that comes up in this where he's instead of modus operandi, he calls it modo referendus or something, referendum. And it's just like, what? And Bobby goes, what?
Bobby Lattiser.
Yeah. He goes, you got to check your Southern dictionary for that one, your Oklahoma dictionary for that one or whatever. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't get enough credit. I love the Dream on commentary, but I do think he needs someone like Bobby Heenan there. I think this trio are very good, I think, together. Yeah. The chemistry's there.
This crowd is pretty mild to this match for some reason. Maybe they don't like Harlem Heat. We do get a very early version of a Spinneroonie, which I think is rather fun.
That's after
it's a high spot in the match.
You see a kid in the crowd with Sting makeup, and Bobby goes, "Huh, what an ugly looking kid!" It fucking cracks me up. And then you got the Dream talking about Luger having a disgruntled look, if you will.
Yeah.
It's just brilliant. Like you say, the way he's breaking it down and talking about it, it does go in.
Luger's selling is pretty bad here.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Luger. He rejuvenated his career when he turned up on Nitro.
Just by switching, yeah, very good.
Just by switching. But then I think it revealed itself where really, he just doesn't grab me. He was never the greatest worker, but
in a real shocker, he is one of our nominees for the ICO Pro Award this week.
I mean, he wins it most weeks, hands down.
Yeah, there is one other person who looks pretty beefed out, and he'll actually turn up any minute now. Luger selling's bad. They're working at a snail's pace, which really bugs me that they should be working this slow. There's a sloppy clothesline in there. Bobby Heenan gets in a cracking line about 2 guys wearing spikes and with lousy haircuts.
Yeah, I've got that. Yeah, spikes and lousy haircuts are going to turn up. I was really disappointed that they took the belts off of Harlem Heat, to be fair. Pretty much just to give them to whoever they were going to give them to, because Harlem Heat have been doing their thing, and you saw in this match that they're a better tag team.
Oh, they're a really smooth polished tag team.
But the fact that Hogan and Macho Man had come into WCW and they'd kind of been doing the title match thing means that then Luger and Sting are kind of floating about.
Yeah, they're pushed down the card. Yeah,
They're pushed down the card, and then they're like, "Oh, I'll tell you what, let's just fucking put them together and give them the tag championships." And it's like, yeah, but what about all them other tag teams that could have them? You know?
Well, it is universally sort of known that they are good friends. They did own a gym together and stuff like that, and they did work as a tag team at another Super Brawl of ours that we watched. They worked their asses off in that one.
I mean, that was against the Steiner brothers, weren't it? But that was how many years before this, dude? 5 years before this.
5 years, yeah. So I mean, 5 years is not massively long time. You're not going to lose all your skills in 5 years.
No, but in wrestling years, it's quite like dog years.
Something that bugged me is they put a rest hold on in this match, which was already really slow. I thought it took the piss.
I really enjoyed Harlem Heat the way they were working in this match.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Stevie Ray and Booker T. I actually watched, go off track a little bit, but I've been watching a lot of ring roasts. Have you seen many of them?
I think I've seen Jim Cornette's, but I haven't seen many more.
Yeah, I was working and I had the ring roasts on. And I watched Jim Cornette's again, which was really, really funny. I watched Terry Funk's, and I also watched Booker T's ring roast. He's got a ring roast, but it was a little bit shit, Booker T's one, because you had a lot of the people doing it via video or whatever. The Undertaker done a bit, RVD done a bit. I think it had Bruce, the black comedian, the really massive dude, Bruce.
Yeah.
He was in it. I mean, it was pretty good. A little bit of just to veer off a little bit, just for a little bit of pointless chit chat. But if you get to watch the ring roast of Booker T, watch it. It's on YouTube. But also do watch the other ring roast as well, because you get to see New Jack just being completely off his nut, and literally like talking at Terry Funk's ring roast and just bringing everything back to New Jack, to himself. It's just, he's completely off his tits. But yeah, we're talking about Booker T anyway, and Booker T's ring roast was really funny.
Animal hit Stevie Ray with something. I couldn't tell what it was.
It's a plate. I think they say it's like a metal plate or something.
Not
like a hubcap or something. Okay. Yeah.
And Luger gets the pin. It's a terrible match. It's really bad. Like, it doesn't get started, and it just plods until the end, and it sort of gets the treatment it deserves from us, because we barely spoke about it. We spoke about ring roasts instead.
Yeah.
Mean Gene catches up with Luger and Sting straight away. So one of them says the tag team of the 90s.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, well, even that sounds corny as hell. Like, and not Jim Cornette, but I mean, yeah, just corny as fuck. Sting is saying that they're together and they're,
I'm with you, brother, and all this. I doubted you. Yeah, I'm all in, brother.
I was sort of expecting Harlem Heat to either attack them or try and get some revenge, and it never happened. So I really thought they were going to come out because they only got interviewed in the aisleway. I thought it was going to carry on a bit of a fight, but it never materialized. US title match.
They've been robbed twice.
Yeah.
In a matter of weeks. So yeah, they should have.
The Road Warriors had, they were after Luger, so they were going to make sure that Sting and Luger won the match and moved on to the match with the Road Warriors later on in the show. This US title match is rough, and it's all Conan's fault. And I can't stress that enough. At the bell, it's One Man Gang in a rematch with Conan. One Man Gang was the US champion. He lost it to Conan. He looks a lot older here. The gang does.
What, Akeem, yeah?
Well, I was going to ask you that. One man gang or Akeem? Which one do you prefer?
I mean, for comedy reasons, Akeem, the African Dream.
Of course.
I mean, it's not politically correct, but swimming when he walked, he had slick, But I mean, one man gang. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't. Yeah, I mean, the best thing about Akeem is his Hasbro figure.
Yeah, that's a good one. Conan turned his back on one man gang at the bell.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
there was some. It's this botchamania, bro.
Oh man, if he hasn't already done it, someone better give him the link, because I mean, there's that hideous spin kick which production almost missed, and they should have missed it anyway. This is one hell of a clumsy match, but Conan's the clumsy one.
Yeah, there's a couple of matches with loads of there's one match later on, I'm looking through my notes as we speak, and there's another match with fucking loads of botches. Yeah, it's the other tag team match. Botchamania, bruv.
It's another plodding match. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't pick up pace. It's not going to pick up pace because one man gang looks like he can't really move that well. And he's not bumping a lot. That's something you sort of notice. He's not taking any bumps in this. Conan's comeback, Conan just fell back. He took a back bump.
Yeah, I've just got Conan just back bumped. And it's like the commentary team said it as, he stepped out the way of that one. And it's like, no, literally, he was just standing there and just took a back bump. No one touched him, nothing. It was so bad.
One man gang
so bad.
Finisher and then pulls Conan up on two. It would turn out to be a mistake because Conan hit some sort of flying cannonball for the win.
Terrible, but then but like one man gang gets pinned 1, 2, 3, and then just literally just stands up and just goes, I
don't know how many matches he has in WCW, to be fair.
That's terrible, man. Fucking awful. I've got 2 lines about that. Conan just bumped, lol, and poor finish, terrible, really.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I've got. And Conan dressed like Max Moon.
Mean Gene plugs the hotline again.
This when he says it smells like the toilet, because every time someone flushes the loo, we get a smell down here.
Oh, this is the one where he's with the Road Warriors. It's Animal apologizes to Harlem Heat, but this is the most 80s of interviews in all of the 80s, and we're in 1996.
I've got this. Yeah, it's basically classic shouting.
I added a line because Hawk starts shouting, and they're going to deviate septums, they're going to detach retinas, and I thought the only thing missing said they were going to violate rectums.
They're going to write.
That's the only thing that was missing from that.
Deviate septums. And what did you say? Violate rectums. That rhymes.
Detach retinas.
Lovely.
They were going to detach retinas. Yeah. I thought that was the only thing missing was the violate rectums. It was such an old school shouty interview.
Well, I mean, the only
thing missing was probably the marching powder.
Well, I mean, I think that had been. I mean, that's why he talks about deviated septums, because Hawk it is well known that Hawk would be on the marching powder like loads, man. There was one half of the Orient Express that's done a shoot interview and spoke about basically him partying with Hawk and, them literally buying so much cocaine and just being up till like 4 a.m. and then having to go and get more cocaine, and then them saying, we've missed our flight, and Hawk's like, fuck it, man, let's just go and get more blow. And then they end up getting fined, but they don't give a fuck because it's like getting fined for them was cheaper than so they missed a gig or something, but them being fined was cheaper than them having to re-get another flight or something. So they're like, fuck it, man, just get more blow. Like, it was literally like, no wonder Hawk is talking about deviated septums, because this was the cocaine era, dude. This was like,
I think we're a little bit past the the cocaine era of like the 80s, but the party's still going in the 90s for sure.
Oh, fuck yeah, man. They're still partying.
I'm not sure how stringent WCW were with their drug testing in 96. You know, the WWF had put their own policy in from about 92, and it carried on throughout like Vince's steroid trial and stuff, so that, you know, the party almost stopped in the WWF for a little while. It didn't.
Well, it depends.
Because they were just taking different drugs.
No, yeah, but it depends who you are, bro, as well. Because it's always been a thing, right? I'm going to go in a little bit on WWE because you can always see who the chosen guy who basically gets someone else to piss in the pot. Because you've always got... Don't tell me, okay? Don't tell me that fucking Bobby Lashley ain't on the juice, bruv. Get the fuck out of here. So you got like certain guys that are kind of... And John Cena was clearly on the juice.
I really think you're doing a disservice to, you know, what ICO Pro can really do for you.
No, I get you. I do get you. That ICO Pro is good shit. But like, you know, you can't tell me that, because John Cena, when Chris Benoit died, okay, you've got the Larry King show, right? And you've got who was on there? It was like a double. So you had, I think Mark Mero was on there, Chris Jericho was on there, John Cena.
I remember Jericho being on there, yeah.
Jericho. So in the studio, you had John Cena, Jericho, maybe Stone Cold, or someone else as well in the studio, right? And John Cena, they're talking about drug tests, and Jericho says something like, yeah, you know, we've all been tested and all that. And then John Cena says, oh, hey, John, how many times? He's like, yeah, I've been tested 6 times in 6 years or whatever. I'm like, fuck off, John Cena. Have you been fucking piss tested? Get the fuck out of here, man. Just because you've got that stupid dad haircut now, don't be chatting shit. There was times when John Cena was so ripped, dude. Like, come on, man. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to people. Like, there's certain guys that are allowed to not be tested, or to have, like, you know, one of the guys who work in the truck piss in the pot. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, Vince has the guys that are on top. Like I say, Bobby Lashley's another one for me. The geezer's a monster. Wherever I've seen him, whether it be TNA, whether it be WWE, Bobby Lashley is just constantly halfway through a cycle. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, he is, dude. He's always halfway through a cycle.
At this point, I'd like to mention to my good close personal friend Bobby Lashley, his name is Chris. Not Chris. Just, yeah, like, it's not me, it's Chris.
Well, like I say, and Batista as well. Let's go in on all of them. Like, Batista.
You leave Batista out of this.
No, I like Batista. Don't get me wrong, man. He's half Greek or whatever as well. He's my brethren, you know what I mean? But he's another one that at one time or another, he was absolutely huge. And you can't tell me that he weren't on the juice. Like, WWE and wrestling in general needs those type of characters.
Dave, it's your good friend Jordan again. His name is Chris. I can't stress this enough. All these guys that have been, you know, had their good names sullied by Chris.
No, but even The Rock, let's go in. I'm wearing the guy's T-shirt. I'm paying you, Rocky. Like, but there was some times as well that The Rock was on the juice. But they're the top guys. You know what I mean? They're the money makers.
Can I just add in? It's allegedly on the juice.
Sorry, allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. We are not gonna get sued, Chris. Jesus, man.
All right. We ain't got nothing for them to fucking take us to court over. Literally, you can just have the shirt back off my back.
Try and nick my grape soda. Leave me.
That's fine, man. But like I say, when it comes to drug testing, it's very political as well. Because especially in WWE, you know, there's guys that are going to be able to get away with it, and there's guys that just will be like the scapegoats, you know. And RVD, I think, was one of them scapegoats that got in trouble for smoking weed, you know. When you've got guys that were taking so much fucking human growth hormone and testosterone and shit, you know, it's and we're just getting away with it because they were the guys, they were the chosen ones. So drug testing in WWE is a bit of a misnomer. It's very political.
I mean, Bulldog and Warrior got done for it.
No, what happened with them was the reason why they got
got shopping in a different. Yeah, I know, but
and they were importing it and shit, dude. And there was a whole.
They would have failed a test anyway. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but I mean, they could have got fucking Matilda or whoever the dog was to piss in the thing. I'm pretty sure there was condoms of urine that were being bought and sold off guys in the truck. It was like, oh, dude, I've got a piss test tomorrow. Okay, fine. There you go. I'll piss in the Johnny.
Right. And at piss in the Johnny, we will move on.
I'm sorry, man. You know how it is, man. This is chat, grapple, and cheap pops, mate. That was a cheap pop. Piss in the Johnny.
Yeah, we will move on to the respect strap match, which has so much to talk about. It is nobody's favorite wrestler, Kevin Sullivan, with Jimmy Hart against the guy we mainly did this week and next week's shows for. It's Brian Pillman. And these two have been in some sort of feud. Brian Pillman, is becoming a loose cannon. He made Bobby Heenan swear on live TV. He was spitting at cameras. I think Arn Anderson gave him a slap one time. Like, he was meant to be part of the Four Horsemen. Comes out to Four Horsemen music. And this match it's wild just for its notoriety.
Yeah.
Pillman did not like Kevin Sullivan.
This match blurs the line
Yeah.
of what has been booked, what people think is going to happen, what actually happens, and then what happens. And what actually happens, and what happens preceding the match. Because I'm pretty sure what happens after the match wasn't supposed to happen either. That we'll get to it in short thing, but I think is it not Brian Pillman Jr.'s birthday today, bro?
It is his birthday. We did give him a shout out on Twitter. It is Brian Pillman Jr.'s 27th birthday. Jesus, man, that makes me feel old. And I put in the tweet as well, he is single-handedly keeping mullets alive in pro wrestling.
Fucking A.
God bless that man.
Yeah, man. God bless that man. Shout out to Pillman Jr., man.
Yeah.
Shout out, my friend. Happy birthday.
And Brian gets hold of the strap as well. He's holding the strap, and you can tell something's not quite right because Kevin Sullivan just shoots in for a double leg takedown
straight away. It's like when you on this one, right? I've got here. Basically, you can see Sullivan on his face as soon as he's in the ring. So there must have been words that was had out the back because Brian Pillman's got the strap, but the strap is still wrapped around and still tied up like they've just bought it from the shop or wherever because it wasn't ready. It wasn't open. And Pillman's got hold of it. So he's probably out the back saying to him, I mean, this is just speculation, but he's probably saying to him, no, I'm going to hold the strap and I'll come running in with it. Or whatever. And it's not, like I say, it's still wrapped up brand new. And when they get it into the ring afterwards, after this match is over, they have to actually cut the tape off it to actually open it up. And you can see that Kevin Sullivan's got a look on his face when he's in the ring. He's like, I don't think he knows what's going to happen. And I think he's
frantic start because he shoots for the double leg. And as he does that, Brian just starts whipping the shit out of him.
Oh, it's stiff as fuck, man. Yeah. It is legitimate shots.
And he's whipping him. Kevin Sullivan's still trying to shoot for a leg or something. It's not really working. They finally do get into a corner when Kevin just potatoes Brian right across the face.
Spuds him right on the chin, bro. Yeah. And I mean, this is actually shades of Kevin Sullivan and Chris Benoit.
A little bit, yeah.
We've covered that match in one of our previous episodes, and it was like there was some fucking stiff shots being thrown in that one. There was some stiff kicks, and And this was very weird because Brian's just he's just laying into Sullivan, and Sullivan's literally trying everything he can, like not to let him kick him and that. You know what I mean? Like he's literally worried for, you know, Sullivan's shooting on him.
And Pillman makes a dash for the referee, who clearly isn't really aware what's happening, and he grabs the mic off of the referee, because this match was meant to end with someone saying, "I respect you," and Brian grabs the mic and in a really sarcastic way, "I respect you, Booker man," and he leaves the ring to a few boos. He flips off a few fans, you know, with the middle finger. But the bit Booker man is edited off WCW tapes and like all their stuff. It does make it onto the network, which is quite handy for us. And we can get to Brian. We can get to what happens to Brian after this. We can just finish this segment. Arn Anderson comes out in very casual wear, because it seems again a little bit hectic. No one seems to know what's going on.
No one knows.
It looks like Kevin Sullivan's offering Arn out. Arn takes off his dress shirt. Looks like a Ralph Lauren shirt. Looks pretty nice. This is where, we have another match. Arn, and I don't know if Arn was ready for it, if he was meant to be doing it.
He's gone out there. Basically, what I think has happened is, I mean, was Flair obviously involved in the booking as well of WCW at this point?
I'm not sure who was in charge of the booking. I just know that I've got Eric Bischoff as the exec producer as always, but
because there would have been X amount of time set.
Sullivan's on the booking committee, clearly.
Yeah, so so this match would have been set for X amount of time, right? And they would have literally had to. I mean, I don't know if that was the. I mean, who can we ask about what was actually supposed to happen on this night? Is there anywhere on the internet that we can go as smart marks? Is there anywhere we can go on the internet to kind of find out, right, what was actually supposed to happen? Because the finish of how they finished it, you know, I think maybe Arn Anderson was supposed to come out maybe during the Flying Brian and Kevin match while they're whipping the shit out of each other or whatever and having the match. Then maybe Arn Anderson was supposed to come out and split him up and say, look, come on, fucking, we've got Hogan and that tonight. But it seems to me like the match was over by the time Brian grabbed the microphone, it was like 45 seconds, bro. Yeah. It was about a minute, if that.
And it was intense. It was crazy. It was so Arn steps in and we have an impromptu match. I'm shooting my shot here on this one on Kevin Sullivan. He's in knocked off Hogan pants, and at possibly 5'5", he's a little bit tubby. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a chubby guy anyway. It doesn't affect my life in any way. I can say what's what. But he's a little bit on the tubby side, and he's wearing Hogan's knocked off pants, and he's 5'5". It's comical. He's balding. It's a terrible look. And I just the only reason he's on the show is because he's the booker.
Yeah, but he should have just stayed. I mean, even the Dungeon of Doom at this point was a fucking joke.
Yeah.
I mean, the people, a lot of the people that you had in Dungeon of Doom, it was like the fucking Raggy Dolls. You get what I'm saying? Like you had like fucking Shark. The only good people. I mean, you had Haku and the Barbarian.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, big bad.
Meng and Barbarian. You had fucking Zodiac. Let's not get started on Ed Leslie.
Gimmick number 106. Yes.
You had. It was pretty bad, dude. The Dungeon of Doom at this point.
Yeah, but where are they situated? They're situated in the fucking main event because they're being led by the booker. Like, yeah, like that's why I'm taking my shot at Kevin Sullivan.
Well, there's a point after this. So basically, yeah, Brian Pillman's grabbed the microphone, said, "I respect you, Booker man," after about a minute. And then everyone's standing, and then he's dropped the strap, which still hasn't even been opened, because it was a strap match and an I respect you match. So in a strap match, obviously both guys have got the strap attached to each other's. More gimmicks.
Yeah.
We're getting into AEW territory, but it's you know, so it should have been a strap match, but we didn't even get the chance. Like, Pillman came in with it still wrapped up.
Yeah.
Pulled a little bit out just so he could whip him with it. And then he's done the old fucking I respect you, Booker man, done the off ski. And then you've got Sullivan there talking to the referee, just saying, well, that was over in a minute. We've still got another 8 minutes left or whatever. Pillman's obviously gone running out to the back, and then Arn Anderson's probably come out to save the day, I think. I don't think he was ready, but I think they're like,
yeah,
you have to go out there.
Arn and Kevin have a brief match. Arn hangs Kevin Sullivan over the top rope, and the commentary booth say he might like that. You know,
It's crazy. But that, for me, was one of the best parts of the match, where Arn Anderson throws Sullivan over. He's got it wrapped around, and then Arn Anderson's doing the classic Arn Anderson. He's got the pose, yeah, where he's grabbing him and he's still going like that. He's like looking around and that and just doing the crazy Arn Anderson. It's fucking fantastic. I love Arn Anderson. Great.
Rick comes running out, and he puts a stop to the match. He says, you know, they've got Hogan later and Savage and all of that stuff. They're trying to remain as a team. He also threatens to make a woman out of somebody's wife.
In the crowd, yeah, because the crowd are shouting at him, and he goes, "You lot shut up. If I wanted to talk to you, I'd take your wife home and make a woman out of her." But then also you've got another bit where after Flair comes out and he grabs them both and he's talking to them, right? You can see Arn Anderson and Sullivan talking, and Sullivan turns around to Arn Anderson. He says, "What's wrong with him?" Well, what's wrong with him?
Yeah.
So he's even saying, "Look, what the fuck is wrong with Brian? Like, what's wrong with him? Why did he do that?"
As far as I've read up and I've been aware of, there was the only person that was definitely in it was Eric Bischoff.
What, Bischoff was definitely in on what he...
Bischoff was in on all of this. There was a plan. Pillman would get to the back, and him and Eric would argue loudly to continue the charade.
I think that's bullshit, dude.
Well, this is you know, Eric. Pillman would be fired the next day, and Eric Bischoff claims that this was always the plan, that he would be fired, and Pillman was free to then go to ECW and maybe even Japan and get more heat and more, you know, generate more money on the loose cannon character.
What, and then come back?
And then come back.
Bollocks.
And, you know, Pillman does exactly that. He shows up at a ECW show, Cyber Slam. Look out for it next week.
But he never goes back to WCW and instead gets signed to WWF.
No, that's it. Eric always has claimed that the plan was to re-sign Pillman when he was ready, but Pillman played him like one of Honky Tonk Man's guitars, because it was a way of Pillman getting out of his WCW contract, you know, actually doing what Bischoff said and going and generating more heat on the loose cannon character, and then signing a big old deal with Vince.
And he actually got the second guaranteed contract that WWF ever gave anyone, as we've spoken about before. The first one was Mark Mero.
Yeah.
But there's a story, and I can't... it was Sabu, okay? So here's another little bit of Pillman information, okay? And a little bit of an insight into the mind of what was going on with Brian Pillman, okay? Because this is, as Jordan said, this is our Brian Pillman kind of double header. So this week we've got Superbrawl 6, where all this has kicked off. Brian Pillman's done this. the loose cannon character has basically gone out and outed the business and said, you know, book a man and all this kind of shit. But Sabu, okay, Sabu on a shoot interview spoke about Brian Pillman, and he said that when he first met Brian Pillman, when he was around him for a little while, when he was in ECW, Pillman was being a bit of a jerk. Well, not being a bit of a jerk, but was very short in his answers and wasn't very talkative. And, you know, Sabu said to someone, what's his deal, man? You know, like, why is he being like he is? And they said to him, it's not his fault. His ex-wife shot herself in the head while she was on the phone to Brian, just to make him know that it was his fault and he was the reason why she did it.
Fuck.
Right? That's fucking deep, dude. And this is around the time from when he was at ECW before he got signed to WWE. And later on, obviously, he would be found. I mean, we've covered this as well. We've actually got one of our episodes from the day that Brian Pillman was being found dead, and it was Bad Blood, wasn't it? Was it Bad Blood?
In Your House, yeah.
Bad Blood in Your House, which is one of our episodes that hasn't got a lot of views, but I actually thought was one of our best episodes.
It's it's really, for us, it's like it was something that we really enjoyed doing. I mean, it's not a great topic, but
no.
Also, yeah, it was something we thought we did really well with, and you know, feel free to go and check that out for any new listeners, any new watchers.
We'll put that in the end. Yeah, we'll put that on the end of the video so you can watch it. We'll do it as one of the clicky doodahs.
There will be more on Brian next week in part 2.
Yes. So this is the double header. Yeah, go on, mate. Sorry.
Next week we are finally dipping in to Extreme Championship Wrestling. It's something that Chris has wanted to do more than me for a while. I haven't quite given in on TNA just yet. I think we'll keep swerving that one.
No, it would. And who is it you was having? Who is it that put up? We'll give them a shout out now. Who said they were old school TNA marks? It was another podcast dude that you've been chatting with today.
Yeah, last minute podcast with Frank. He put up a favorite TNA wrestler thing. You know, I thought I'd have a laugh and stick Monty Brown in there. And
last minute wrestling podcast. Shout out to you guys. Follow them on Twitter and listen to them. Last minute wrestling podcast.
That's a one man show. That's Frank.
Oh, that's the one. Yeah, it's Frank. That's it. So, you know, I am an old school TNA mark, and he put up Samoa Joe, of which I have his original TNA T-shirt as well from when he first started in TNA.
I'm trying not to open my eyes, man.
No, honestly, it's a good T-shirt. It says Drastic Measures, and it says Submission Machine on it, because he was known as a submission machine, because he was great. I mean, Samoa Joe in TNA was fantastic, but I said AJ Styles was probably my favorite in TNA because he made himself there. But I also had honorable mentions to Christopher Daniels, the Fallen Angel, who was actually in AEW in the Casino Royale thing.
Christopher Daniels, AJ Styles, and Samoa Joe had their, was it Unbreakable?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
fucking incredible, dude.
I know a little bit about TNA.
Yeah, dude, I've got that DVD. I've got that on DVD. That match. That
was.
But also,
yeah.
You had Shark Boy. You remember Shark Boy, right? Something happened where we like
Shark Boy. Yeah, that sort of thing just pisses me off. I don't.
No, dude, it was fucking incredible, man. Sharp. Instead of the beer, he had the clam juice, dude. It was just great, and he'd be coming in there, like, you know, talking trash to people and that. Oh, dude, it was so good, man. Next, you'll be telling me
juice.
It was clam juice, dude. He was like, you know, and he'd be like, like he had the gimmick down, dude. It was good. And don't tell me you don't like Curry Man. You know.
Oh, he's hot, spicy. He tastes great. Yeah.
That's right, man. Come on, dude. But yes, shout out to Last Minute Wrestling Podcast. But yeah, we are getting into ECW next week, and thank you, Jordan, for allowing us to do that as well, because I have been going on for ages about getting into ECW, and it's a great show to get into because of the whole Brian Pillman thing, because Brian Pillman literally within, I don't know how long it was between this show and the ECW show.
I think it's something like 6 or 7 days.
So within about a week.
So there was clearly no 90-day, no compete clause in the contract, anything like that. He was just fired on the spot.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I mean, you can see Sullivan saying, "What's wrong with him?" Yeah, but what's wrong with him? You know, talking to Arn. But yeah, we're getting into ECW next week, and it will feature the loose cannon Brian Pillman.
Oh my goodness, he is a loose cannon there. Let's move on. It's Mean Gene with the Giant and Jimmy Hart. They're just basically saying Hulkamania's finished. Giant talks about souls and maggots, and Hogan can't run or hide. Jimmy Hart has the best lines in here because I think you've got some memorabilia to go with it.
I do.
No more watching those B-grade flicks you're in. No more Thunder in Paradise.
No more Thunder in Paradise. You've got Gene, talking about, we've got a lot of loose cannons around here. And then, he comes in with his lines about B-list movies and no more Thunder in Paradise. And I actually have an original video store poster for Hulk Hogan, Thunder in Paradise. And that is fresh out of a video store from 1990, whatever.
Jeez.
You know, it's wrestling memorabilia that not a lot of people will have. Partly because it was a fucking dog shit movie.
Hell yeah.
But partly it's just, Hulk Hogan in Thunder in Paradise.
And yeah, that is a cracking poster.
And he's got the patch over his eye like he has done in this pay-per-view as well.
And as far as I'm aware, Chris did not find that in a bin behind Blockbuster, but it's.
I did not. No, I did not find it in a bin.
There's a reference no one will get in 10 years. Blockbuster. We've gone too far back.
We've gone too far back, man. There was Choices. Do you remember Choices video?
No.
Oh no! See, that's way far back for you. That I remember going to Choices video. There was a Blockbuster in our town and a Choices video. And yeah, I mean, fucking hell, man. Them were the days. Friday evening, you'd go in there. You could rent games, computer games. You could rent consoles, dude. You know what I have? I'm a collector of all things like retro, and I have a Blockbusters video X rental Super Nintendo with the carry case and everything. And someone probably stole it from Blockbuster Video years ago, but I ended up getting my hands on it. Yeah, and it's the ones that you could go in there and for the weekend you could rent a Super Nintendo and rent a load of games and that, you know.
But for those who look at our Instagram account, which is at Grapple Pops, you would have seen me post a couple of pictures of me playing Superbrawl of all games. WCW Superbrawl on the Super Nintendo, but retouched for the PSP just because
it's rare as shit, dude. That game, it is like Superbrawl for the SNES is proper rare.
It's it was a fun game.
It was good.
There was sunset flips that looked like Canadian destroyers. There was
I've got it on my arcade machine. I hand built an arcade machine, and I've got it on there.
So, yeah, that's something that people need to see. That you've handmade a video arcade machine and you're playing WCW Superbrawl. We need pictures, Chris. People love this stuff. They want to see it.
Yeah, man. I love my arcade machine, mate. My boy loves it.
It's a tag team title match. It's the one that people have been dying to see in 1989, 1990. It's the Road Warriors against Sting and Luger. There's no iconic music for LOD. They don't get the Road Warrior pop here. They get a decent pop, but it's not
a decent pop.
Lex is very hesitant to get to the ring. He threatens to walk out. Sting has to go and get him. Lots of Luger sucks chants going up. Like I said, this would have been a dream match 5 or 6 years before. Absolute dream. But it's 1996 and it is not a big match anymore.
No, it's fucking they're longing it out as well. Luger actually gets spat on. He actually gets spat on, and you see him when he walks over to the ring, like wiping it. You can see him clock it as he gets spat on, and then he walks over to the ring. When he comes to the side of the ring, you can see him like rub his arm on the side of the ring, like the top bit of his arm, where someone gobs on him. That's not cool, by the way, people. Be prepared if you're going to spit on a wrestler to catch one to the fucking jaw.
Yeah, the receipts. Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I mean, it's terrible. I mean, but literally, it was longed out too much. They're saying, you know, Luger's saying, yeah, get them to take their spikes off and all this kind of thing. And, it was longed out.
They botched that neck breaker. It's
the spinning neck breaker was fucking horrible.
And this is it. Like Animal, right? We've spoke about this. Animal has a picture perfect power slam. And Luger managed to screw that up.
Yeah, that's correct. He does.
And it just made it looks weak. It makes it look bad. It's just, the commentary team are disappointed with Luger for being too slow to help Sting. Sting and Animal both no-sell suplexes. I thought that was funny. I did quite like that. I thought, if you're gonna screw about with a match, why not just no-sell everything?
Yeah, we've spoken about the Road Warriors no-selling shit before, haven't we?
We have, and then it's a double count out, and they brawl into the back, and it's
but they fucking they botch an Irish whip into the ropes, dude. They grab Sting, the Road Warriors, to give him an Irish whip. They kind of miss his hands, and then Sting just turns around and just runs into the rope. It's like absolutely terrible match. Bad.
It's a shame because between like I said, 5-6 years ago, maybe more, like it would have been a dream match along with LOD, Road Warriors, and the Steiners. Probably would have made like big money anywhere they went. But this match is just lost in a terrible show, and it's a shame. But we move. Mean Gene is with Ric Flair and Woman.
Woo!
Yes, Rick talks about his blood, sweat, tears, and a title change. He is the challenger tonight. He's looking for his 13th World Championship. And woman, oh woman.
Woman, oh woman, oh woman. What a promo this was, though, dude.
Yes,
what an interview this was.
Very good. One of the highlights of the fucking show.
Absolutely, man. And people talk a lot of shit about Flair, but he actually dragged this show from its knees to this point. And this promo
do a blinding show.
Oh, it's fantastic, dude. And he said, he's talking about, Liz. Gene says, "Oh, will you be taking a ride on Space Mountain tonight then?" Oh. And he says, "Woman on my left and Liz on my right, but I won't be telling anyone who I'll be with tonight." And it's like, yeah, dude, you're the fucking man.
Uncle Gene cannot take his eyes off of Woman.
Dude, who can, man? And she's there.
It's another Nancy appreciation.
Nancy, I say Nancy Sullivan, Nancy Benoit.
Woman, oh woman.
A woman, oh woman. She's fantastic.
It isn't the height that she gets to where she's rubbing all up on Gene.
She's still touching his lapel though. She's there as soon as the promo starts. They're standing there, and she's like rubbing his lapel on his jacket, and she's like, "What woman wants, woman gets."
Yeah.
It's really fucking good. Class.
It's gold and
pure class.
Yeah. There's a promo for Uncensored, something about getting off your ass and watching it. I don't know.
They bleeped it out. Yeah. What's the matter? You can't get off your ass and watch something good and then blown away in the chair.
Is this the Uncensored where it's like Hogan and Savage against like 8 different people?
Yeah, when they're in that massive like cage thing that goes up and up. That was fucking terrible. Dungeon of Doom again.
that could be one of our shows coming up. Let's
Fucking bollocks, mate.
We could review some of the worst in that one. Mean Genes with Elizabeth and Randy Savage together again. And we get Savage quoted, or talking about the mega powers, and I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do a Randy Savage impression. What it is what it is.
That's right.
And then Mean Gene drops in a little bit where he says,
right.
Savage could be walking the razor's edge.
That's right. He's walking fine razor. He's walking
Brilliant.
This fine razor's edge.
Absolutely.
And it's like, yeah, he's dropping the hints because obviously soon to come would be Scott Hall and Kevin Nash.
I mean, it would be a few months, but yeah, there's Scott Hall would be the first to make his appearance, wouldn't he, in the WCW? And then we cut back to our commentary booth, and Bobby Heenan's facing the wrong way.
Yeah, he's got his back turned to everyone, and then he's like, they're trying to drag him round and that.
He's trying to spin his chair. He's clearly getting frustrated with Bobby. Bobby's just winding him up to no end.
Bobby's just Bobby. Bobby lives it 100% of the time when he's on the screen. Like it's the Bobby Heenan shoot interview. He says, when you're doing anything, you've got to be in it 100%, and you've got to be believing in what you're doing, and you've got to be that character. You've got to be that person. So Bobby the Brain Heenan was a fucking jerk. The character, he was an absolute arsehole, but that's what he'd be doing. He was completely pissed off with what had happened in the last match, and he's just there. He's just like, he don't give a shit. He's just pissed off. And it's brilliant the way he's got his back turned, and he's just Bobby Heenan.
His back is turned. He's not lost in the shuffle. He knows exactly what they're saying next to him.
Absolutely.
He gets turned around, and he doesn't skip a second. He's so it's brilliant.
He never misses a beat, man.
And it's our first half of our main event. Michael Buffer is here collecting a nice sweet paycheck for his catch.
Double bubble. It's a bank holiday for him today, bruv. Double bubble.
Special.
That's it, mate.
It is
double time.
WCW Championship cage match. Another gimmick match. Ric Flair with Woman taking on Macho Man Randy Savage with Elizabeth. And this is where a piece of memorabilia comes in, because it is... Now, I say it's not rare, obviously, but WCW didn't have a lot of merchandise in the UK in 94, 95, 96. It just wasn't readily available. I'm not sure if that was when they sort of came off ITV as well.
Yeah, it was.
Around that time, yeah.
Because they went on to TNT with Nitro.
They went on to TNT 95, 96, yeah, but there still wasn't many toys, games, stuff.
No, not in the UK.
Yeah, so for this to like land in my lap, it's an old San Francisco Toy Makers 1995 Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, nice, dude!
Ridiculously good shape. And I have to throw out a thank you to Cactus Matt, as I like to call him, or Matt Diamond, however you want to call it. Matt, it was you. You wonderful human being. He found this. He gave me the shout and said, "Do you have it? No. Do you need it? Yes, please."
Where did he get it? Car boot sale or marketplace or something?
He found it in a shop near one of the places he was working.
Nice.
He came across it, yeah, gave me a shout and said, "Here it is." And yeah, this is in unbelievable nick for something that was around in 1995. There's no chips, no dings.
There's a few of them that I've been looking at on eBay, because they had the really colourful backing cards, and you've got like, the Giant, you had Macho Man. There's a few good ones, man.
Yeah, I don't have many. I have...
Show it again, man, bitch. Put it up.
I have Goldberg, Rey Mysterio, and now Randy Savage.
Yeah, dude, let me have a look. Hold on. Yeah, that's nice, dude. I'll have to come round your house and touch it.
I've heard that before.
Yay! Boom!
Ric Flair gets a brilliant reaction. Like he's playing heel, but we've said this before. 1996 Ric Flair isn't a heel anywhere anymore. He's too well respected. Macho Man comes out. Someone in the crowd passes him a Slim Jim, and he kisses it.
Oh, it's brilliant, dude.
To be honest, if I was getting that money from Slim Jim, I'd kiss it too.
Oh, dude, you know he got paid, bro. It's crazy because when Ric Flair walks down to the ring, he grabs a child's Hulk Hogan bandana and then throws it on the floor.
Yeah,
and then they stamp on it, but the kid in the background, you can see, is visibly pissed. He's like, no, like you see the kid getting really vexed in that. I'm sure someone would have picked it up and given it back to him because you don't see it when
you would hope,
you know. But the kid was fucking pissed, man.
Randy Savage is our Tassel Award winner of the evening.
100%.
He is covered in them.
Yep. Tassel factor 1,000%. I've got written down here.
And I've got to be honest, this really took me off topic, and I wrote it down just so I didn't forget it. It makes you think that we had some, and I say we because this was an era we watched and we were out like really locked into. We had some massive stars.
Oh, we were spoiled.
We were totally spoiled for it, and you almost feel bad. Like, in a way, I sort of do feel bad for people that watch today's stuff and are so sort of into like these guys who aren't as good or aren't as bigger stars as Macho Man, Ric Flair, Hogan, Sting. On the other side, you had Bret Hart, you had, Shawn Michaels, massive names. And we were probably spoiled for it. Mega stars, I'd call them. And John Cena was probably the last one.
No, Enzo Amore.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Enzo. Shout out to Enzo. You were the last one.
I'm really sorry.
This is the question I got. Has wrestling faded?
Short answer, yes. Wrestling is now being kept alive by the remnants of the great old ones. You get what I'm saying?
The network's keeping it alive.
Yeah, it is. How many modern wrestling fans are watching, WWF Backlash from 1999 or the Royal Rumble 98 or Superbrawl 6 or fucking Superbrawl 1, dude? Who's watching it? It's guys from...
People go back and watch them,
But this is partly why we've created this channel, because we've done it for the old smart marks like us.
What's a smart mark?
The smart marks, what's a smart mark? No, let's not get into it yet. Let's not get into
Next week.
Next week. Stop, Chris. I'm just excited about ECW. Stop it. Right. This is why we've done it, because I think a lot of the new guys that are watching AEW, they're not really familiar with maybe a lot of older stuff. I think the nearest they've got is like the era of, like you say, Cena, Randy Orton, The Miz, people like that,
But Cena
Morrison.
Is the standout, isn't he? He is the last megastar for sure at the moment. Like anyone could branch out and take it. Someone could be the next big crossover.
And you know what? I've got to big up John Cena as well, because to be fair, if it wasn't for John Cena, we probably would have never seen Enzo Amore and Big Cass like we saw him. Because have you listened to Enzo Amore's shoot interviews that he's got online?
No.
Everyone, you should. It's fucking great, because he basically tells a story about how they were first on Raw and stuff like that, because, they were doing dark segments and dark matches, and it were just dark segments, first of all. And John Cena was at one Raw and saw them do the dark segment or whatever, and then the next week they saw him do something, and John Cena just said, I want you guys, have you got your gear with you? Can you get out in the ring with me when I'm doing this thing with whatever, and basically John Cena was the guy who managed to get them a little bit of exposure and just said, right, get your gear on, fucking at the end, you're going to come out, and that was, that's, so big up John Cena. And it's not like, Cena was good, in a way where, like you saying, he was really the last superstar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The last, in the vein of your Stone Cold Steve Austins, your Rocks, your Shawn Michaels, you guys like that. No one's really ever. I mean, who were they really pushing for? I mean, Randy Orton,
Orton is he's hit legendary status already. Like he's for me, he's living legend. He's already, he's done it all.
You know what annoyed me? I think they were hinting the fact that he's going to have new music.
Okay.
And I just can't. You can't have Orton without the classic. I hear voices in my head.
Yeah,
they talk to me. You can't. That is Orton. You go, they talk to me. Like, come on, gets me fucking gassed up every single time. But it's not like we don't enjoy wrestling from other eras as well, Jordan.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
we're watching stuff from 89, 90, 91, 96, 98, 99, but we do watch newer stuff. And we enjoy it.
What I was just trying to, like, I just felt kind of bad about it, like making this point. Like, it feels like we don't have the level of stardom that we had.
No. I mean, I don't know what the reason for that would be. It's difficult, really, to try and put a finger
I'll
on.
be honest. I think some of the reason is that the booking these days is pandering to the smart marks.
Dude, you've hit the nail on the head. And I'll tell you one thing as well. I think that's a reason why AEW might end up making some bad decisions, because it's pandering too much to the fans. Because, I still get hung up on the fact that MJF wasn't given the title, because it's one of them things where the build-up was there, and you had the Moxley marks who were like, they were like, oh, he can't win without help and all this kind of stuff, and it's like, you're missing the fucking point of it, man. It's the more entertaining thing to be would for them to, the first time, I don't understand why Matey Boy didn't get involved either.
Yeah. Tony Khan's gonna get his comeuppance this weekend when his Fulham, he owns Fulham FC. When they play the mighty Arsenal, and they're gonna get battered. So, let's wipe the smile off of Mr. Khan's face this weekend.
Fulham used to be owned by
Harrods guy.
Yeah, Harrods guy. What's his name?
Al Fayed.
Al Fayed, yeah. And didn't they have a statue of Michael Jackson outside Fulham?
They did, yeah. I think it's gone now, but they did have a statue of Michael Jackson outside it.
That's crazy, yeah. So, yeah, the Al Fayeds are quite a huge, a famous family for the fact that the son, Dodi Al Fayed, was dating Princess Diana, and obviously died with her in the tunnel and that.
Yeah.
So it's so the Khans own Fulham Football Club in the UK. They own the Jaguars, but I think they're pandering far too much to these fucking fans, man. And these fans, they haven't got. I mean, the fact that they were moaning about what JR said.
Let's be honest. A lot of these fans don't have a booking bone in their body, so they just want to, pick apart everything the way they see fit. It's still real to them, damn it, and all that stuff. That's fine, but they swarm like bees when someone has an opinion that's different to theirs. It's quite funny to watch sometimes. They really do go after you if you say that Moxley sucks or something like that, which is, he doesn't. He's just...
No, he does. Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
I'll take the heat, man. I'll take the heat. I'll take the heat. I'm down for that.
There's lots of stalling from Rick at the beginning. There's only one ref involved in this, so escape is not part of the match. Escaping the cage is not a way to win in this match, which makes it weird. The ref takes forever to lock the door. I don't know what he's playing at.
Well, I mean, there's straight away, there's a lateral press pin attempt, and while the pin attempt's there, there's no one doing the count because the ref's still pissing around with the door.
Yeah.
You know, and then I think
the cage bumps by Savage in this are out of this world.
I mean, the velocity that he hits it with is,
compared to someone else who hits the cage in the next match. I mean, these were brilliant bumps he was taking into the cage. He was really throwing himself around. He was bumping like mad to get this match over. And to be honest, it was a nice change for two people trying to get a match over instead of just pissing around, actually putting together something decent. And Savage is bumping like crazy on the cage. Ric Flair sparks the referee for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
no real reason to it. He just walloped him. That, I mean, we speak about this every week. Every week there's chops, but Flair's laying them in, and I think Dusty even says they'll take the hide off your chest. They will.
Yeah,
like he's felt them before. It's really good, and I can't talk enough about Flair and Savage. I mean, I really enjoyed their feud in 1992 in the WWF. I know the feud kicked up again in 95 with Angelo getting involved.
Yeah, Angelo Poffo, his dad, got involved and ended up getting slapped up by Flair.
Yeah. A woman is playing a brilliant role at ringside. She's screaming her head off when Flair gets put in the figure four.
Rick!
Yeah.
Rick! That's literally all you can hear. Rick!
Savage goes to the top of the cage and Flair catches him. I mean, that's a bump and a half for someone that's getting older.
Oh yeah, I mean, how high is it from the top of the cage? Because he's standing right on the top of the cage and he just lands. Gets a belly shot.
The referee starts pulling Flair's hair. Flair puts on a figure four on the ref. I suppose this was probably all tied into the ref getting a punch, like in the first minute.
Yeah, because I don't know why. Because when Flair was grabbing onto the ropes, the ref was kicking his hand.
Yeah.
But then he was trying to drag him off Macho Man by pulling his hair. Yeah,
the fans were booing at this point because they obviously, Flair is well liked, and
this is when the Dream he drops the Modo referendum line.
Savage starts grinding Flair's face into the cage, and Bobby Heenan says he's going to look like Oakland when he's done.
Yeah, it's so good. And then he goes, and then Tony says to him, "Do you just sit at home and just like write these things down?" He goes, "Do you listen to yourself sometimes?" He's like, "Yeah, all the time." He's like, "I listen to myself all the time."
It was a no-brainer. Flair was going to blade in this, but the WCW policy on blading is, none at the time. No blading whatsoever, no blood. So we lose any close-up camera shots, really. And that it ruined it for me.
But do you not think they're busted open hard way on the... No?
It's not Rick blading king.
Yeah, I think in the next match there's a hard way gash.
Yeah. Flair gets his arse out, which the fans love. How can you ever tell what fans are into?
How can you not like it? Bare ass Flair. Twice.
We get two shots of Flair's naked bare ass, but
and
they won't show a bit of blood.
Yeah, you get the Dream saying that's the moon over Miami. He drops a couple of great one-liners.
Savage gets a really close 2 count on Flair, and the bell rings, and it just it's a bit of a mistake there. I guess they think it was done and dusted. The cage door that referee spent so long trying to lock flew open on its own.
When someone takes a bump against the cage and then it just flies open.
The door just flew open. I was cracking up at that. I just put next to it, fucking ref.
Yeah, it's a fucking ref, and it weren't your pal.
It wasn't my pal. Which one's
The
my
referee, the referee you love so much in
pal?
WWF.
Oh, Earl.
Yeah,
Yeah,
old
yeah,
Hebner.
yeah. It wasn't around to screw anyone in WCW. Yeah.
Or steal any merchandise.
Yeah, the camera shot has gone wide, so you start to. I got annoyed, and I started to just carry on getting annoyed as that happened. And then out of nowhere, woman tries to throw powder into Randy's eyes. Randy drops to the floor and like it just goes into the air. No one gets hit. And Liz gives Ric Flair a shoe. Swerve, bro.
Swerve, bro, and this is where it all. I mean, this is where it all begins because the team of the Four Horsemen and Liz and Woman, Ric Flair.
It's big.
Oh, dude, it was so big, man. Liz was better with Flair, and because hadn't Woman left Macho Man as well? Because Macho Man turned up the weeks before, and he had Woman and Liz by his side, and Woman defected and left to go to Rick.
I would have to go back and rewatch. I haven't seen some of that stuff in.
I believe that's what happened.
We have a new world champion 13 times, but the production ruined it for me. Like towards the end, there's a really nice pop for Rick as wins the title again, and someone comes out to steal some limelight.
Of course he does. Of course he fucking does.
It was head in hands when he come out because I'm like, what the hell are you doing here? Like,
and dude, again, he does the fucking thing. He goes up to the referee and he's pointing to his shoe and trying to mimic taking his shoe off, and he's pointing to his shoe. It's like, dude, no one gives a shit, man. The referee didn't see it. You're coming down like acting like you're on, playing charades, bro. The fuck out of here, man.
Yeah, there's Hogan sucks chance, and at this point he does. Savage gets helped to the back. Hogan's still, vamping behind him, doing my head in at this point.
The only thing that made me feel better after that was then going to the commentary booth and seeing Heenan just smiling.
Yeah, Mean Gene is with Hogan. Hogan is cursing Liz. He's all I got here was just, and even my missus said, like, what's he on? Like, what is he taking here? Because it's a lot of brother and dude.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's the longer. Yeah, I mean, he's
manic. It's just.
He's off his.
You know what? It made me long for an Ultimate Warrior promo at this point because I thought I would have understood it more.
Yeah.
That's saying something.
The power of the Warriors. You know what I mean?
And it is our main event. Like, it really shouldn't have been, but it's the Giant with Kevin Sullivan. He'll frame you good. Remember that. And Jimmy Hart against Hogan. It's unsanctioned. I'm doing quotes, unsanctioned.
Yeah.
One of the best parts of this was Old Man Hogan trying to climb the cage.
Oh, and trying to get back in, yeah, and then nearly doing a fucking Matt Seidel. Yeah.
It's your typical Hogan fare, this match. It's the fans. Yeah, the fans are into it. To be honest, I don't know why. Like,
no, I mean, I don't know.
Florida is a Hogan area. He has a Hogan.
I mean, that's where he lives, yeah. But the thing is, there was still plenty of Hogan sucks chants, even when the match started, dude. There was loads. And how many fireworks did he want? Jesus.
Not enough.
Yeah, it was like Chinese New Year.
The match has become, it's a plodding brawl. It's slow. It's again, they're making their way through treacle to get to each other.
Do you know why? Because they're putting fucking Hogan over, and if it was legit and they're in a cage, the Giant, Paul White would have battered the fuck out of him, and the way that he was selling in this was ridiculous. At one point he's standing on his feet like rocking for about 10 minutes. Waiting for Hogan to fucking do something.
It's the old Giant bump though, like Earthquake used to do it, and Yoko would do it. Yeah, it's just it's old hat at that point.
Old hat, but I tell you what, he does take a very savage-looking bump in this match. Does old Big Show?
I was going to say you weren't talking about Hulk.
No, he don't. He don't bump for no one, bro.
Hogan runs to the cage ever so gently and just taps it with his hands.
Yeah.
This, I've got here. This should not be the main event. The bear hug in the middle of the ring looks like a gentle cuddle.
Oh, it's terrible.
They're just having a moment to share, like in front of 7,200 people. It's hokey. It's a shit choke slam, which the fucking prick knows.
Yeah, he fucking yeah. It's complete. Even one of the commentary teams says, "Oh yeah, no, that wasn't the choke slam that he usually gets them up 6-7 foot." He's like, that was just a half one, and then literally he no sells it again. Hogan jumps up in the air like he's just shit himself.
And this is
like
it. Hogan is now stronger than ever. He's no sold the choke slam. He's the strongest he's ever been here, and the Giant is showing Hulk how to bump into a cage and how to, bump in general. There is a big pop for the body slam. A body slam on someone that big is always going to pay off. I don't care what anyone says. 3 leg drops of doom, and the Giant decides to no-sell them.
He does the Undertaker, bruv.
Yeah.
He is so I piss myself when I see it, because it's one of them things where literally Hogan's dragging him round by his head and just launching him into all the sides of the cage that he can do. I think he busts him open as well the hard way. I don't think he had chance to blade, really.
Probably not. Oh.
The way he's thrown him around. And then, he slams him, which is a pretty big slam as well. But you can see he pops for him really nice because Hogan gets him nice and high. But it's like 3 leg drops later, and then the Giant literally just sits up like Undertaker 1990 fucking 3. It's just... Oh, it's great, man.
We get a second chance at Hogan climbing out a cage ever so gracefully. He wins because he exits the cage, which wasn't part of the rules in the cage match before. Oh,
no, they're both in the corner standing up, and like they're chopping each other in the corner. And Giant takes an absolutely phenomenal back bump just from the top.
Yeah.
Oh, dude! And it's like it looks like he bangs his head. Like real bad, like his head just goes boom, 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 like when he fucking hits the deck. And then Hogan obviously slivers out the top.
Yeah, he snakes his way out.
Gets
attacked by Kevin Sullivan with a chair straight away.
Great stuff.
At this point,
that was my favourite part.
At this point, the whole Dungeon of Doom makes their way out.
Don't get me started on this bit, dude, please.
It's possibly the worst ending to a show I've seen in a long time, because the whole dungeon makes their way out and they all have to sell these really weak-ass chair shots from Hogan, who is fighting them all off in a cage, all 8 of them. I counted 8.
There's 8. There's 8.
He's fighting them all off with one chair. It is so messy. Like, he clears them all out of the ring, out of the cage. He clears all
I hated it.
That's horrible.
It basically, they could have gone in there, held him down and butt fucked him. 8 people. 8 people on one Hogan, yeah? And one of them's the Giant and one of them's Meng.
Yeah, Meng could have.
For God's sake. Fucking Haku and the Barbarian, dude.
I mean, if you're going to end it properly, because here comes Loch Ness. Giant fucking Haystacks, our star of the show, comes bowling out. He's trying to get to Hogan. They're holding him back because they know how much damage he's going to do to Hogan. They know he's going to ruin him for every other fucking show. So they hold back Giant Haystack, Loch Ness, whatever. And we get Hogan must pose. I'm sure that line from Vince must have made its way to WCW at this point. And we get a good night from St. Pete, because that's it. That's just showing.
Dude, it was absolute dog shit ending, dude. You've got 8 very big, strong men, yeah, being tapped left and right by Hogan and then attacked with a chair and stuff. And it's like, right, let Loch Ness in, let him eat him. Like, you know, it's they're holding Loch Ness back by his hair and like trying to hold him back. He's like, no, get off me, let me in there. You know, oh, dude, it was so terrible. And yeah, Hogan posing, Dungeon of Doom leave, grabbing Loch Ness by his hair, and it's just an awful finish. It's like so hokey. Like
grim is the word, yeah, that I've used. It's so bad, but it's WCW before the arrival of these lot. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, dude.
It's just before it's WCW just sort of really slowly ambling its way towards, you know, falling into a great booking idea, which I know they say they didn't steal it, but they clearly borrowed it. They borrowed it from New Japan and UWFI, but yeah,
they did it well. They
did it very well. Let's not knock that, because the NWO angle is incredible. But before that, I mean, you've got that silly cage match where it's 2 versus 8. That's right, 2 versus 8. And yeah, that's where we are at this point in WCW. It is not a good time, but they get better. And we did watch this purely for the fact that it was part of our Brian Pillman, you know, double header special. And next week we move on to another show, and we've already said ECW SummerSlam. So brace yourselves, people. This will be my first attempt at reviewing an ECW show, which could fall flat on its arse. It could be a lot of fun. So
I'm telling you, man, it's a lot of fun. Like ECW is, I mean, in a word, crazy. It was absolutely crazy. I mean, the camera work is crazy. You've got one main camera. You've got other bits floating around. I mean, the commentary was crazy. Yeah, I mean, it's just absolute mayhem. You know, there's the one that I always keep going on about that for me is one of the craziest ECW shows ever is A Matter of Respect 96. That is the one for me that I really think we could do one day, because it's absolute nuts. But there's also some very big stars that get very big in WWE and other promotions that are on that show. But yeah, we're venturing into the world of Extreme Championship Wrestling.
And yeah, it is to follow on from what happened with Brian Pillman, and you know, because his ECW is, I wouldn't say it's his debut, because he did some stuff for ECW in '94, but this you know, return, if you will, like it's iconic in wrestling. It's just the hell of a way to turn up to another company. And you know, and we messaged about this yesterday or even today, like, and we will talk about it a lot more next week. Like, the crowd are you know, they're so excited to see him in the bingo hall.
In the bingo, in the Philly bingo hall, you know what I mean? And the thing is, yeah, there was so many people that went from WCW to ECW and then went on to greater things. Yeah. It was, you know, you had Stone Cold Steve Austin did it. You had Mick Foley did it, and then he did the hardcore promos. You know, the Dewey ones. Yeah. You know, like, you know, and the one where he just lost it. You know, it's and then Pillman's done it. You know, it was great. You know, Stone Cold Steve Austin started to create the Stone Cold character really in ECW. You know, when he went there and he was just like jerking around, basically. You know, drinking beers and just fucking about. You know, ECW doesn't get enough credit for me. Some people say it was trash wrestling or whatever, you know, but fuck, man, you've got to give it credit. You really do, for some of the stuff that went on there, and how it was a platform for those that were disenfranchised from either company, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I would say I feel bad. Like we've done a WCW show and we're finishing it by talking about ECW, but I don't feel bad about this because this was a bad show.
It was bad. It was
Yeah.
the show that should have been the match that should have been main event would have finished it off on a bit more of a high.
Yeah.
I think.
So,
because it was a great angle, great wrestlers, great match.
So,
but then,
yeah, with that, I would like to thank anyone that's still watching, still listening, as usual.
It's a long one tonight, isn't it?
We're good for the insomniacs.
Yeah.
You can, we have spoke about it, but feel free to catch up with any of our older stuff, especially the Bad Blood review, In Your House Bad Blood. We talk a lot about Brian Pillman in that as well. And maybe it should have been a 3-parter, who knows? But yeah, remember to hit the you don't have to hit the bell if you don't want notifications, but hit the subscribe button.
Please subscribe, please.
And I did mention this earlier today on Twitter. When we hit the 500 subscribers, I'm more than happy to do our first giveaway. And everyone loves free shit, so let's not make this difficult. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, even on Facebook. Chris, we love the Facebook thing. There's plenty of stuff that we like to share and talk about. There's always goodies. There's always clips and stuff we're putting online. We're always talking about. Check us out. Look into the whole thing. Subscribe to us. Win some shit off us, because like I said, I'm having a clear out. I've got stuff I need to get rid of. Have it.
Yeah, please.
I took the VHS tapes round to Chris. This is what I'm doing. It's wrestling VHS tapes. I'm having a clear out. Chris has got some stuff he's got to, he's happy to give away as well.
Yeah, man. And we want to give it to worthy listeners like yourselves.
People to enjoy the stuff. I've got sealed DVDs just sitting here that I'm never going to watch. Stuff that people can. I'm more than happy for people to have. Hit that button. It's there. It's
subscribe.
Hit it now.
Hit it now.
84% of you, that are not subscribed and are watching. Hit the button.
But it's kind of a thing on YouTube. It's kind of a thing. A lot of people, they enjoy watching a certain channel's content, but they just won't subscribe for whatever reason. I don't know why, but please, guys, subscribe. Press the little ding-a-ling bell. You don't even need to get notifications, but please click the subscription, and you could be with a chance of winning some of myself and JB's wrestling memorabilia, of which we have much.
Yes, and it keeps growing, much to my wife's annoyance. More things just keep turning up.
What it is what it is, brother.
And a reminder that you can catch us on, every podcast streaming site available.
That's right.
Do I need to get
Podbean, Spotify, Deezer, Castbox, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Listen Notes, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio. Do it. Download, listen on YouTube, watch on YouTube, and then you get to see our cool T-shirts and that we are wearing.
Yes.
And just do the thing, baby. Like, subscribe, and thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Episode 16.
Thank you.
Superbrawl 6.
We are very happy to be in your homes, in your house, even.
That's right. Without the Todd Pettingill.
Yeah. Well, we could have Todd,
Oh, I'd love to have Todd Pettingill on here one day. It's like a dream of mine.
But yes, thank you for staying with us. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I am JB. That is Chris Dredd. He is, a wonderful man. Despite what Brock Lesnar thinks of him. And
now Bobby Lashley and all.
And Bobby Lashley, yeah. And we will see you with ECW Cyber Slam 1996 next week at some point.
Yes, indeed.
Take care, guys, and we will see you soon.
Bye.